what is a bond? Let's start at the ground level.
Essentially, it is a property tax, it is an increase in property tax to back a bond to get money up front to build facilities today.
Haney Hong is president of the San Diego County Taxpayers Association.
When a voter sees a school bond on their ballot, it's often phrased as, it's like, well, should you support education or not? And the question is much more detailed than that.
When school districts propose a bond, they're basically asking homeowners for permission to take out a loan using future property taxes as collateral. Take the San Diego Unified Bond proposal. The district wants to sell $3.5 billion worth of bonds and pay investors back over 39 years using a $60 tax on every $100,000 of a home's value. But those numbers are all based on assumptions about how the market and the district will perform. Hong says you have to look deeper.
What is the kind of financing that we're going to use? What is the amount of interest, for instance, that folks have to pay? What are the best practices in construction?
Let's start with the financing. You might remember that Poway bond.
They borrowed $105 million, not realizing they'd be paying back $1 billion in the end.
That was a capital appreciation bond that delayed payments and let interest pile up and up and up. The state has outlawed the worst of those bonds, and most school boards have adopted policies to be more transparent if they're entering into such an agreement. So don't let that bad press sour you on bonds. But Hong says you still have to be vigilant about finances, mostly around how districts predict property values will change.
We tend to like districts to be conservative in the assumptions of the growth of assessed value. And so 4% is generally conservative. If they want to go lower, even better. But if they're starting to do something beyond 4% or assuming 5, 6, 7, 8, 9% growth in property values, that could present some problems on the finance side.
Problems like not having enough revenue to pay back investors and having to dip into already constrained general funds. All of the bonds on this year's ballot meet that 4% threshold, so let's move on to best practices.
Who is ready and excited to break ground today?
That's Cubberley Elementary School Principal Magdalena Ruvalcaba presiding over the groundbreaking of a new track and field at her school.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
It's a joint use field, meaning nearby residents can use it when school is out. Hong likes those.
This is taxpayer dollars. And is there an opportunity to leverage the limited taxpayer dollars that we have for maximal community benefit?
Hong also likes bond projects that have strong oversight, are well planned, and efficient. To that end, the Taxpayers Association doesn't like project labor agreements that commit districts to using union labor for construction on bond projects. That can undercut competitive bidding.
That criteria is completely political. That criteria has nothing to do with can the school district actually deliver on the projects.
Andy Berg is chairman of the campaign in favor of San Diego Unified's bond. He says some of what goes into deciding your vote is subjective. For instance, project labor agreements can mean more jobs for parents in the district. Maybe you put a premium on that. And while Hong ripped into that "do you support education" appeal, Berg says that's a legitimate consideration.
I think it's up to the individual voter, so I'll just talk about me. I look to see if there's a need in the school district, right? Go to your own schools and see if there's still, work to be done to make these better. And then ask yourself if you believe, like I believe, that public education is the most important thing we do. It's the great equalizer.
To see how the bond on your ballot stacks up, visit kpbs.org. Megan Burks, KPBS News.